Hey guys, it's AlienPie314 here, 9K Mario Kart World player, looking to share with you today a video having nothing to do with the gameplay itself and the patch. We all wanted to see it. I'm sure that you've probably heard about this by this point. If you are even, slightly involved with the Mario Kart World scene, you've heard about patch 1.1.2, which reads, Nintendo has adjusted courses when selected in random when selecting next course in a wireless versus race. What does that mean in actual speak? We are putting intermission tracks into random so that you can no longer pick the variation of the game where you get 3-lap tracks in the classic format that's been honored in all previous Mario games. Can't do that anymore. You're going to have intermission tracks in your games when playing worldwide versus races. You can already imagine, if you haven't seen the backlash, exactly what's going on out there. It's mayhem. It's carnage. Does Nintendo deserve it? Absolutely. Every bit of raw, seething anger you see online, they deserve every ounce of it. In all my years of gaming, in every Nintendo game I've ever played or taken seriously while looking to be competitive, this is the worst single change I have ever seen Nintendo make. The Smash series has never had anything like this. The previous Mario Kart games never had anything like this. You look throughout Nintendo's history, they've never done a change quite like this one. Why is it so bad? Well, if you haven't already driven intermission tracks for several hundred hours of gameplay, the problem with the intermission tracks is that Nintendo claims there's 200 variations of these. But in reality, there's about one. There's one variation, what you see here. This is the straightaway intermission. Notice the lack of rails. Notice the lack of tricky charge jumps you can do to get off of something and trick off of it. What movement is there to do in these intermissions? Drive straight. Does it seem faster to go up the pole line over there on the right-hand side or left-hand side? It's not. Go straight. What can you do to go faster? Go to the back in placement, collect items, take items, which are like mushrooms, mega, golden, etc. Skip ahead of a significant amount of off-road, be up in first with a mushroom, and then drive straight. Until you get one lap of some track that everybody wants to see, that people like generally racing, especially over here in the West. I did hear some discourse that there was Japanese player influence potentially on this decision, that there were some top-level Japanese players who really liked the game as Nintendo intended it and voiced their opinions very vocally. Perhaps that had significant influence on Nintendo. We don't know for sure. They don't tend to explain themselves whenever any decisions like these are made. They didn't listen to the drop the price chant. They certainly weren't going to necessarily take what the player base had in mind. It's driving people away, frankly, from playing the worldwide VR races. So what meaning does the VR rating really have in worldwides anymore? Honestly, probably not too much for right now. It's also not the worst thing ever. I do want to emphasize there is some slight optimism that I think it's appropriate about maybe 10 to 20% of the time. Having an intermission track every once in a while isn't bad to keep people's appetites for it kind of fresh. You don't encounter it that often, and it just comes up once in a while like it was. Nobody was really complaining about the intermission occasionally showing up, but now it's just all over the place. Where do we go from here? I'm cautiously optimistic that we will see Nintendo add in a 3-lap variant of some kind. They can add in the 3-lap variant again as a separate mode with its own separate VR, or they can just straight up revert the change. And people who want to primarily play straightaways can go right back to Knockout Tour, where that's basically all Knockout Tour is. It's all intermission all the way until the last lap when it's 1 lap of a real 3-lap traditional track. What can we as the player base do moving forward? And what will yours truly here be doing? Well, I'm gonna end worldwides for now in the 9K region. I'll be doing some of it on stream. You can catch that from the link below. If you'd like to see the stream, you can always come check it out. I know I and many others are gonna be doing a lot less of these worldwides and looking to private servers, private lobbies, lounge gameplay. There's tournaments that are hosted by MK Central that are done only with good rule sets, 3-lap track variants only, no intermission tracks, standard items, 12 racers. I even like the 24 racers variant. I think 24 racers is totally appropriate for a bunch of these tracks, but that takes your effort and your time and you figuring out Discord rules, learning a new set of rules, and going out of your way in order to experience Mario Kart World at its best. Of course, intermission tracks, it has to go, Nintendo. There has to be variation because the player base is absolutely right on this one. This is one of the worst moves without considering what the player base, is really enjoying or indicating what they like about this game, because there's so much good rail tech. There's so much good charge jump abilities you can do, places to drift that are creative, No item shortcuts that we call NISCs, like the one on Bowser's Castle. That's the most significant one in the entire game, probably. And we don't get to do those on as many laps. We get to do this, drive straight. The way I can liken this for someone who hasn't played enough Mario Kart, for someone who hasn't gone through several hundred hours of this game, is imagine if just from out of nowhere the next day, tomorrow, your taxes were just doubled with no additional benefits for anybody. We're just paying as a country for what's already been done. And that's your only option. That's what you get. Can't opt for anything better. There's no choice. So with any luck, we'll see a reversion. At some point, we may have to wait an extremely long duration, which will be painful and difficult. But I believe that if they see both sales numbers and online player-based numbers going down significantly, we'll see a return to either what we had just before June 25th, or we'll see 3-lap tracks added in as a separate mode. Both are plenty acceptable to the player base. You've got a good game, Nintendo. Rant over. You can catch me on my stream. You can catch me in lounge, in private servers. I'll still be streaming daily. For you who are out there, I wish you the best of luck. If you would like to join private games, you can check out my stream, and I'm going to be creating specific days where I have a room lobby code and people will be able to come in and out. We still have 3-lap tracks. We're running that. Can't wait to see you guys until the next one. This is Alien Pie 314 signing out. Peace.